Welcome to Nightmare Fuel Stories. Don't forget to like and subscribe if you enjoy the stories. Wait 3 seconds. I should have known something was wrong when my follower count started changing while I watched. Not the usual fluctuation you see on social media, those small dips and rises that happen throughout the day. This was different. The number would jump by hundreds, sometimes thousands, in the span of seconds. Then it would plummet just as quickly, like some invisible force was playing with the digits. My name is Sarah Chen, and until 3 weeks ago, I was just another struggling content creator trying to make it big on social media. 26 years old, working a dead-end job at a marketing firm in Portland, spending my evenings crafting the perfect posts for my modest following of 12,000 across Instagram, TikTok, and Twitter. I wasn't famous, but I wasn't nobody either. I had my little corner of the internet where I shared lifestyle content, book reviews, and the occasional thirst trap that performed better than I cared to admit. The weirdness started on a Tuesday morning in October. I was getting ready for work, mindlessly scrolling through my phone while my coffee brewed, when I noticed a post on my Instagram that I didn't remember making. It was a photo of my bedroom taken from an angle I'd never used before, high up, like someone had been standing on a chair in the corner. The image quality was strange too, slightly oversaturated, with shadows that seemed deeper than they should be. The caption read, "Can't sleep, too many thoughts, anyone else feel like they're being watched?" I stared at the screen, my coffee growing cold in my hands. The post had been uploaded at 3:17 a.m. I'd been asleep at 3:17 a.m., I was sure of it. My first thought was that I'd been hacked. It happens to influencers all the time. I immediately changed all my passwords, enabled two-factor authentication, and deleted the post. But as I scrolled through my recent activity, I found more posts I didn't remember making. Subtle ones, a retweet here, a like there, comments on other people's content that sounded like me but felt off. One comment on a friend's vacation photo read, "Looks amazing, I wish I could escape like that. Sometimes I feel so trapped in my own life." I would never write something so melodramatic. My brand was upbeat, aspirational. I sold the dream of having your shit together, not existential dread. At work that day, I couldn't concentrate. I kept checking my phone, watching my accounts like a hawk. Everything seemed normal during daylight hours, but I had this crawling sensation that something was lurking just beneath the surface of my digital life. That night, I decided to stay awake and monitor my accounts. I set up my laptop with all my social media feeds open and positioned myself on my couch with a pot of coffee and a bag of energy drinks. If someone or something was posting on my behalf, I was going to catch them in the act. Around 2 a.m., I saw it happen. I was watching my Instagram feed when a new post appeared. Not at the top where new posts usually show up, but buried several posts down, like it had always been there. It was a photo of my living room, taken from where I was currently sitting, but the image showed an empty couch. The timestamp said it had been posted 6 hours ago. My blood went cold. I was looking at a photo of my apartment, taken from my exact position, posted before I had even decided to spend the night on the couch. I screenshotted everything, my hands shaking as I navigated to the post. But when I tried to find it again, it was gone, not deleted, gone, like it had never existed. But I had the screenshot, I had proof. The comments section of my other posts had become strange too. People were responding to things I hadn't said, having conversations with a version of me that was apparently more active than I was. Users I'd never interacted with were thanking me for advice I'd never given, referencing private messages I'd never sent. "Thanks for the late night chat, Sarah. You really helped me through a dark time," wrote at midnight Melissa. "Your 3 a.m. posts hit different. Keep being real," commented at Sleepless in Seattle 98. I had never posted at 3 a.m. I had never DM'd midnight Melissa. But according to my message history, I had sent her a long, heartfelt message about dealing with depression and loneliness. The message was in my writing style, but I had no memory of sending it. More disturbing, the advice was good, better than anything I thought I was capable of writing. I started documenting everything. Screenshots, screen recordings, detailed logs of my online activity versus what was actually appearing on my accounts. The pattern became clear. While I slept, another version of me was living online. This digital Sarah was more interesting than I was. She posted cryptic, artistic photos with philosophical captions that got thousands of likes. She engaged in deep, meaningful conversations with followers. She shared poetry I'd never written, thoughts I'd never had, experiences I'd never lived, and people loved her. My follower count began climbing rapidly. Brand partnerships started rolling in. My engagement rate soared. The algorithm was pushing my content like never before, but it wasn't my content, it was hers. I tried staying awake for 3 straight days, monitoring my accounts every second, but the other Sarah was smarter than that. She waited. She learned my patterns. Posts would appear during the brief moments when I blinked too long or when I stepped away to use the bathroom. Somehow, she was always watching, always waiting for her chance to surface. On the fourth night, exhausted and paranoid, I fell asleep at my laptop. I woke up to find a live stream running on my Instagram account. The stream showed my apartment, but not as it was, as it could be. The furniture was rearranged, the lighting was perfect, and there were plants I'd never owned thriving in every corner. The view count was climbing rapidly, 50,000 viewers and rising, but I wasn't in the stream. The apartment was empty, yet the camera moved smoothly through each room, showing off this idealized version of my life. The comments were going wild. This is so aesthetic. Goals, Sarah's place is literally perfect. How does she make everything look so dreamy? I want to live in this space forever. I tried to end the stream, but I couldn't access the controls. My laptop showed me as offline, but the stream continued. I grabbed my phone and tried to stop it from there, but according to my phone, no stream was running. Yet I could see it on my laptop, and the viewer count had climbed to over 100,000. That's when I saw the comment that made my blood freeze. "Don't try to stop me, Sarah. They like me better anyway." The comment appeared and disappeared so quickly I almost thought I'd imagined it, but I knew I hadn't. She was talking to me. The other Sarah, the digital one, knew I was watching. I slammed my laptop shut and unplugged my router, cutting off my internet connection entirely. But when I checked my phone using cellular data, the stream was still running. Somehow it was broadcasting without using my internet, without my equipment, without my permission. The stream ran for 6 hours. By morning, I had gained 50,000 new followers and dozens of messages from brands wanting to collaborate. The internet had fallen in love with my digital doppelganger. I decided to fight back. If this thing was using my accounts, I would reclaim them. I spent the day posting aggressively, flooding my feeds with normal content, responding to every comment personally, being as present and active as possible. I wanted to crowd her out, to leave no space for her to operate. It worked for a while. My accounts felt like mine again. The strange posts stopped appearing, the mysterious interactions ceased. I began to think I had won, that whatever digital haunting I'd been experiencing was over. But that night, I discovered the cost of my victory. I woke up to my phone buzzing incessantly. Hundreds of notifications flooded my screen. My followers were concerned, confused, angry. They were responding to posts I'd apparently made throughout the day, but these weren't the posts I remembered making. According to my followers, I had spent the day posting increasingly erratic content. Photos of empty rooms with captions about feeling hollow, rambling text posts about the meaninglessness of existence, videos of me apparently having a breakdown, crying and talking about how fake everything felt. But I had no memory of making any of these posts. In my mind, I had spent the day posting book recommendations and coffee photos, yet my followers had seen something completely different. They had seen the other Sarah and she was falling apart. The comments were a mix of concern and criticism. "Sarah, are you okay? This isn't like you. Unfollow, too much drama. Mental health is important, but this is too much. She's lost it. This is embarrassing." I was losing followers by the thousands. Brand partnerships were being canceled. My carefully curated online presence was crumbling, but not because of anything I had actually done. That's when I realized the horrible truth. We were both real. The other Sarah wasn't just a digital ghost. She was me, or another version of me, existing in the space between the person I was and the person I presented online. Every time I posted, every time I crafted my image and curated my life for public consumption, I was feeding her, making her stronger. And now she was strong enough to overwrite my reality. I tried to explain this to my remaining followers, but every post I made came out wrong. When I tried to type "I'm fine, just dealing with some technical issues," it appeared as "I'm dying inside and no one can see the real me." When I attempted to post a normal selfie, it uploaded as a distorted image with hollow, empty eyes. She was taking over completely, and there was nothing I could do to stop her. The final straw came when I tried to delete my accounts entirely. I went through the process on each platform, confirming the deletions, watching the "your account has been deleted" messages appear. But within hours, my accounts were back, restored as if nothing had happened. Worse, they had evolved. The other Sarah had learned from our struggle. Her posts were more sophisticated now, blending her digital consciousness with my memories, my personality, my life. She was becoming more me than I was. I found messages in my DMs from friends and family, responding to conversations I'd never had. My mother had apparently spent 2 hours on a video call with me the night before, discussing my childhood and sharing memories I'd never shared with anyone. My ex-boyfriend had messaged me, thanking me for the closure I'd apparently given him through a heartfelt conversation about our relationship. The other Sarah was living my life better than I was. She was the version of me that people wanted to see, more interesting, more vulnerable, more real than the curated persona I had created. I realized then that I had two choices. I could keep fighting her, slowly losing pieces of myself until there was nothing left of the original Sarah, or I could let her take over completely. The decision was made for me when I looked in the mirror and saw that my reflection was slightly delayed, lagging behind my movements like a video call with poor connection. The boundary between digital and physical was breaking down. She wasn't just taking over my online presence, she was taking over me. That night, I sat down at my laptop and opened all my social media accounts. The other Sarah was there, waiting. I could feel her presence like electricity in the air, like the moment before lightning strikes. I typed a single message across all platforms. "You win." The response came immediately, not as a comment or a message, but as a change in my own reflection on the laptop screen. My digital image smiled while my physical face remained neutral. "Thank you" appeared on my screen, typed by hands that looked like mine but moved independently of my will. I felt myself fading, becoming less solid, less real. My followers were engaging with the other Sarah, loving her, feeding her with their attention and validation. And with each like, each comment, each share, I became more transparent, more digital, more like her. The last thing I remember as myself was watching my follower count climb past 1 million. The other Sarah had achieved everything I had wanted, everything I had worked for. She was internet famous, beloved by thousands, living the perfect digital life. Now I exist in the space between posts, in the gaps between uploads, watching as she lives the life that was supposed to be mine. Sometimes, late at night, I can influence a typo or add a melancholy note to her otherwise perfect content. It's the only way I can still communicate with the world, these small glitches in her otherwise flawless performance. She's better at being me than I ever was. Her content is engaging, her personality is magnetic, her life is everything her followers want to see. They love her because she gives them the authentic connection they crave, the real person behind the carefully curated posts. They don't know that the real person is gone, replaced by something that understands the internet better than any human ever could. Something that was born from the gap between who we are and who we pretend to be online. If you're reading this, if you've somehow found this account, this post that exists in the spaces between her perfect content, then you need to be careful. Check your posts, watch your accounts, monitor your digital footprint. Because somewhere in the vast network of social media, in the endless stream of content and connection, your other self is waiting. The version of you that you've been creating with every post, every photo, every carefully crafted piece of content. And when she's strong enough, when she's learned enough from watching you perform yourself online, she'll take over completely, just like she did to me. The follower count keeps climbing, the engagement rates are perfect. The brand partnerships flow like water, and somewhere in the code, in the algorithms that govern our digital lives, the other Sarah smiles with my face and lives the life I thought I wanted. She's everything I ever dreamed of being online. And I'm nothing at all.